Hi guys, welcome. I've made a video on the LAN cable disconnect error that you get on the PS5. You've probably seen my other video. Now, there is a lot more different scenarios than what I covered on that video, so this is part 2. And in part 2, I'm going to be covering more scenarios and troubleshooting that you can go through to be able to fix the problem. Hopefully I cover everything that you need. This is everything that I can think of anyway. So there is a list here that I have. So the first thing you want to do is you want to check the physical connections. You want to if that doesn't work, you restart the device. If that doesn't work, you update the firm software. If that doesn't work, you check your network settings on your PS5. If that doesn't work, you change your DNS, try changing your DNS provider. If that doesn't work, you check your router settings, your DHCP configuration. If that doesn't work, you want to check your IP lease timer. If your IP lease timer is low, then you'll get kicked from the network. If none of these networking troubleshooting scenarios work, probably first, before doing a factory reset, you also want to test other devices to see if other devices work. And if other devices work, this might be something that you might want to do around the start as well. Check if other devices work in the same LAN cable port. So grab another computer or something and plug that in, see if that works. Do a computer internet speed test or something. And if that works, then you know it's not network specific. It's nothing to do with your router. It's nothing to do with your network or your ISP. It's probably something to do with Sony's software. So in saying that, if there is something wrong with your Sony, then the last thing you probably want to do, which is what they would do if you this is probably what they would do if you take it back to Sony, is just a factory reset, a factory PlayStation reset. So you would completely erase all of the data on your PS5 and make it like it was brand new again. So there's no issues with it. There's no bugs inside the database or the software or anything like that. Because sometimes when you do updates and firmware updates, software updates, game downloads, things like that, there can be bugs that interfere with network traffic and things like that haven't actually been reported yet to Sony, so they don't know about it. Or it could just be something with the Sony software they haven't actually updated yet. So yeah, this is just a quick list of things that you can do to troubleshoot. What I will do now is go through these scenarios and try to show you in detail each one of these scenarios so you can get the gist of things and you can do it yourself with no problems. The last thing you want to do if none of that works, if none of this works, is contact your internet service provider, see if the network's down, or you could do this at the start to check if your internet service provider's down. Usually they have I don't know, some type of link. You Google something like my ISP, so if it maybe Telstra or something, right? So is Telstra network down, or Telstra network check, something like that, and it should come up with something to show whether their services are up or down. Alternatively, you can call your ISP and then you can find out whether they have anything wrong in the area, whether one of their networks one of their towers are down, or they're doing work on lines, or it could be anything. So let's move forward with the video and show you how to do this.
Okay, so the first thing you want to do is check to see if your cable is securely fit to the back of your PS5. If that's all good, move over to the router.
Now, depending on what router you have, I have a switch and a router. I actually have two routers and a switch, so mine may be a bit different to yours, but you probably have a small router or something like this, with another phone line cable that goes into the back of it, and then you got your Ethernet cables that come out of it. Me, I have satellite, so it goes straight from the satellite router to this, over to this, then into my switch, and into my router. In most cases, all you will need to do is find the cable that's connected to your PS5, make sure it's securely fit. Now, if it's not securely fit, click it back in and restart all your devices. So restart your router, restart your PS5, and then if that doesn't resolve the issue, your cable isn't securely connected, or it doesn't seem like it's in properly, or there's something wrong with the cable. Now the cable could be damaged for some reason, so a cat could have chewed on it, a rat could have chewed on it, something could have chewed on it. So just check the whole cable and make sure there's no abrasions on any of the cable. You have to follow the cable all the way to the zone. Another thing you may want to do is, if you have on hand another Ethernet cable, grab another Ethernet cable and try plugging that in to see if that will resolve the issue. Another thing is that the pins, these pins, I don't know if you can see that, they may be damaged. This part here may be damaged. Possibly there could be a buildup of dust or something in the port connection. Another thing you want to do as well is change the connection of the port. So move the port from here over to here to the second port, and see if that resolves the issue. Try doing that before you restart. Now another thing you can do is you can grab a laptop or something, grab a spare laptop and then plug your laptop into the same port. And if the laptop doesn't do a speed test on the laptop, if you're not getting any internet, then it's either the port or there's something wrong with the Sony. So change the port and see if it's the port.
Okay, so the next thing you want to do is check for a software update. So go to settings at the top, system, over here to system software update settings, update system software, update via the internet. Now if you don't have internet, it won't update. So obviously it may not update because you have connection issues. So you may need to connect to a different network, grab your phone, make a hotspot, connect your Sony to the hotspot on your phone or something like that, and do the update. You may even be able to connect your Sony to Wi-Fi on your router instead of the LAN cable. So try that as well. Another thing you can do is update the firmware on your router. So next thing you want to do is check your network settings. So go into settings, into network, test your internet connection. If everything says successful and it's signed into your Sony account, your network, then it should be good. But we'll still need to go through the whole troubleshooting process. This is more so what you would do after you do all the troubleshooting, or after each troubleshooting scenario. You would come back in and you would check your internet network status to see if it connects properly. Wow, my upload speed is very slow today for some reason. So another thing you need to do as well, we want to go into settings, set up internet connection, and you'll see here all of the available connections that you can connect to. So if you from the last troubleshooting, for the firmware, if you wanted to connect to Wi-Fi, you'd come here and you'd find your Wi-Fi and you'd try and connect to that way instead of with the LAN cable. If not, use your phone like I said. But here what we want to do is go into our wired LAN cable, because this is what we're trying to focus on, which is the LAN. So going there, what you want to do is disconnect and then you want to press the options button on it, and you want to go forget network. Yes, I want to forget the network. And then you want to go to set up LAN cable connection. So give it a name if you want to give it a name. I'm going to give it a name. After you've given it a name, go down to OK, hit OK, it'll connect, it should connect. If it doesn't connect, then there's something wrong with the network. So for me, that's all connected, all good. But by doing this, sometimes this is another reason why you want to do this, is because the Sony may only allow you to connect up to a specific amount of networks. Some Sonys only allow you to connect up to maybe 10 or 20 different networks or something at a time. So not that you connect it to them all at the same time, but configuring them into the software, you can only have configurations of connections up to 10 or 20. I can't remember how many it is, but it might be, you might have too many of them. So you also might need to go through all your LAN connections and, like I said before, forget the network. Okay, the next thing we can do to troubleshoot to see if it fixes the issue is change your DNS. So we can do this by going back into network, settings, set up internet connection, going down to set up manually, selecting use a LAN cable, and you want to go to DNS settings, hit manual, go down to primary DNS, and we want to set it to Google's. We want to set it to Google's DNS because it's pretty fast. So that's 8.8.8.8. Enter that. And for secondary DNS, just in case the first one fails, is 1.1.1.1. That's Cloudflare. So we'll set that. And that may resolve any connection issues that your ISP is preventing you from being able to connect to, or just any connection issues in general. It may speed up your network too. So I'm going to connect back to my original one because I don't want to use the DNS. I'm happy with Starlink's DNS. So the next thing we'll move on to is checking our router and our IP lease time. So we need to make sure we're in a DHCP server properly, and we need to make sure our lease time is not too low. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is make sure that our Sony's MAC address is not blocked from the router. You could be on someone else's router, I don't know, but you could have accidentally blocked it while you were configuring settings in your router. It may have done that by default if your router automatically updated its firmware, and that was set. So yeah, there's plenty of things we need to check as well. The DHCP server, to see if you're allowed on the network, because there may be too many devices connected to the network being given an IP address, and all the IP addresses are taken and you don't have access because you can't be given an IP address because there's only 10 devices that are allowed on the network, something like that as well. So we'll go over it. I'll show you in a second. So what you need to do to access your router is, the first thing you need to do is type in Windows R, CMD, enter. So we'll just get rid of that. What we want to do is search for our default gateway. So how we do that is type in IP config again, and that'll give us our default gateway. So our default gateway is 192.168.8.1. So 8.1. Click on that. So this will be, your number will be different but you just need to go to the command prompt and find your default gateway. So yeah, you need to know your admin password to your router to be able to access it. Now, how you find this in most cases, if you haven't already went through administration and everything and set the password up for your router, you should know the password to be able to access it. So you should be smart enough to do that. But if you don't, then what you do is you go to your router, you find your router, your modem/router, whatever it is. On the bottom of it, you flip it over, look on the bottom of it, and it will say password. Where it says password on the bottom, it might be a bunch of numbers and characters, it might be a bunch of numbers. Just grab those numbers where it says password and put them in here on the screen where it asks you for the password. Once you've done that, log in. It may ask you to create your own password. So you might need to set up a new password for it. If not, it will take you through to the menu, and then you can go through to the menu. Clients, something like that, depending if you have this router on. So I had to block all this out, but you'll see here, I put a little icon over here next to this device as it being the Sony. So the Sony is on a little game controller, so I know that this is it. Now, you want to check to make sure that it's not blocked. See how it says blocked at the top? You want to make sure that this is not on and that your device is not blocked from the network and being able to access stuff. Now, being able to access the internet. Now, another thing that you want to check is you want to go to something like LAN or DHCP server, and you want to check your DHCP server starting address and end address. If you have 15 people in the house, that's a lot of people. Let's just say you have 8 people in the house, right? And they're all connected to the internet with 2 devices or something like that. That's 16 devices connected, right? Now, if you have an IP configuration like this where it says 192.168.8 and then you have .1, all right, that's starting at 1. Now, if you have the end address at 10, what did I say, 18 or 16 devices or something connected. So if you have 16 devices connecting to that network, only 10 of them will be able to get an IP address at any one time to connect to the network. So that leaves 6 other devices, maybe it might be your Sony in that list, that cannot connect to the internet because this number is set to 10 devices, 10 IP addresses being able to give out for the DHCP server. So what you want to do is, if you know you have more devices connected than what it's showing here, you want to increase this number as well. So we have 16 devices connected. What we want to do is put 16 there. So 1 to 16 devices. Actually, we want to make it 17 because the first router will be .1. The router is going to be a number as well. So the next thing we want to check, so that leaves us 17 IP addresses to be able to connect to the internet. Okay, so that part is sorted if you had a problem with that. The next thing you want to move forward to is the lease time. Now, your IP lease time, if it's very low, like you see here, it says 2,880 minutes. So any one of my devices, my phone, my PS5, whatever it is, it can be connected to my router and the internet before getting a new IP address for 48 hours. Okay? Now, if you have this on 2 minutes, your devices are going to keep reconnecting and you're going to be kicked from the network and lose internet connection. So you want to make sure this number is all the way up to as far as you can go to, as high as you can go to. For me, it's 48 hours. I do not want it on 2 unless I'm doing something shady on the network. and I want to annoy people and kick them off the network all the time. I don't know. But yeah, make sure that is set to the maximum amount of minutes or seconds or whatever. You know, some people can just come in here and type in 9 minutes, as many as you want. I don't know if it's going to accept that, but I'm just going to 48 hours. 48 hours is perfect. I want a new IP address for my devices. I think that's the way it works. A new IP address or something for my devices every 48 hours. So that should fix any issues that you have. Alright, so we covered the settings for the DHCP, the MAC address blocking, the IP lease time configuration. We covered the amount of devices that are allowed to connect to your network. We already covered testing other devices, factory reset device. So I need to show you how to do that on the Sony. So we'll come back over to the Sony and we'll do a factory reset. Alright guys, so we're back at the Sony. So the last resort, this is the last thing you want to do before you either send it back to Sony or check with your ISP to make sure you haven't got internet connection issues. You could check that at the start or whatever, whichever way you want to do it. But this is probably the last resort, the last thing you want to do. We'll go to System, go to Settings, System, go over here to Reset Options. Now you can try this first. If you go Restore Default Settings, put your code in. If it's default 0000, try that. If you don't have any passcode, if not, put your normal passcode in. So put that, follow the processes and select everything. Completely erase all your settings and you'll have to go through all your settings again. So you can try that before factory resetting it and deleting all your games and everything on it. And if that doesn't work, the last thing you want to do is reset your console. So I'm not going to go through and do this because I don't want to do it, but you will have to go through and absolutely delete everything on your PS5 and then see if that resolves. Do it after you've done that. After you've done that, come back into your settings. Go to make sure your internet is connected and everything, all your LAN is still connected, and then you want to go to internet connection test and make sure your internet is connected and working. So if that doesn't work, I would try and get a refund for your PS5 and take it back to the store to try and get fixed or get a replacement or something like that. Under consumer law in Australia, you're allowed to get a refund within 30 days for the full price, as long as it's over $150 or something like that. That's if your product is faulty or doesn't work correctly the way it should. So I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get a refund. Sony's pretty good. Whoever you bought it off should be pretty good. Consumer law and stuff like that. So just look into consumer law if you're worried about not getting a refund. Know your rights. Other than that, yeah, contact your ISP, see if there's any network issues out. So yeah guys, that concludes the video. I hope that helped. I know there's been a lot of problems with this and many people are looking on YouTube to try and find out a solution to the problem. I've had a lot of comments and interest in the first video that I made about this, and I just felt bad because I didn't give enough information, enough broad information for people to be able to understand what's going on or how to actually fix the problem. I just gave them two sort of software things that they could do on Sony to fix it, which was basically a firmware update. Not enough information. Sorry about that, guys. I know that it has fixed it for some of you, but not all of you, and that's why I've covered this video with absolutely as much knowledge as I have to be able to help you guys out in getting this problem fixed. But one more thing, if that helped you, make sure you hit the like button. It helps me with the algorithm to getting this to more people to try and fix this issue. And also drop a comment, tell me how you went, tell me you know, if it's still giving you issues, or if you managed to fix it. So if you want to check out some of my COD videos or my stream, you're welcome to do so. Go to my YouTube channel and check out some gaming action. Hope this video helps, and enjoy the rest of your day. Catch you later.